by a different individual.
Are you reading from the same document that we have, the letter dated from Mrs. Katie
Yes. Yes. So, the issue here is how quickly can we get these members, and what are the steps we have to take, and who on the committee already fills these roles?
The only one that you're missing, you're really gonna miss is the engineer building, either a structural engineer or a building engineer.
Yeah, we can see Cliff in that, he's an engineer.
I'm a registered professional engineer in
Okay.
Massachusetts,
So
so
Cliff
I'm
can-
satisfied that.
Cliff
And
can
I've
handle that.
tons of experience, not on building schools, but building all kinds of other buildings and structures and.
The only other problem I found, that if we were going out for somebody else, is there are engineers in the town, but also they may want to bid on the project.
Right.
They may be working
I won't.
for, I hope
Wanna
not,
restrict some-
Cliff won't.
not with all the new rules that have come out.
Right.
But that's a big holdup for some people, because I know there are people in this town that do school buildings, and they are engineers, but, their company's liable to want to bid on the project. So that presents a problem there. So if Cliff says he's not going to sell his soul to anybody, then
I'm
I guess he
already
can,
in this deep
he can
enough,
serve.
so
Yeah.
I can't get out anyway.
All right, so that covers that one, right?
So, you have a question?
Yeah, I guess I read it a little bit differently, that you needed everybody, every category here filled. Because the way I read it is, it just says all members of your committee must be listed, included here on this list.
Right.
And where does it say that you must have all of them? I don't read that in there. I think it would be a good question back to MSBA. Because when you have a big list like this, maybe 5 out of 7 is good enough.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure these are pretty strict guidelines, that they initially set these guidelines, and then it became a problem because some projects were already in the middle of their process, and so they gave waivers to existing committees. But, and Keith, you may know more about this, but it's my understanding that recently, or within the last 6 months, they said that they were going to strictly adhere to these guidelines, and that now maybe you don't have to have everybody, every category filled, but that's what my understanding is, so we can check.
We'll check, especially where we have someone like the town administrator filling 2 roles.
But that's another issue. The town administrator isn't yet certified in that MCPPO category, and we need someone that's already certified now, and he needs to take another course, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was your first question, can we start work, or do we have to wait until all these are filled?
Right. So the other question, do we need to have someone for each category? Okay.
And just to remind everyone, when we fill these positions, it's a joint appointment with the Board of Selectmen. So we'll coordinate. After we advertise for some of the openings, we'll coordinate. And then we'll have to decide if everybody is going to have voting power. That's a question they have here. Kind of surprised me, because anybody who puts in the hours that you're going to put in should have a vote. So we'll have to see what size committee results from that.
How many members do we have now, Chuck?
7,
So there's 6 and 1,
somebody's missing.
okay,
7 voting members.
okay.
And the other thing we definitely have to change is the charge.
Yes.
So,
You kind of have to change
and
the
where do
new
we
charge.
begin? Cliff, Chuck, why don't we let you tell us some areas that you find fitting into?
Well, looking at the February, which is the 8th, 2010, we got a charge, secondary school building committee, carry all phases of building projects, middle and high school, under the scope of the secondary school building project approved by the school committee, including design phases by MSBA, application, construction phase of both projects. Responsibilities on the first one, review the schematic designs of the middle and high school additions completed by Nightbag and Anderson. That's kind of tied.
Yeah,
That
those
doesn't-
probably should be out of there.
That's got to be out of there.
Right,
The town voted no,
right.
so that's the end of that. So that's got to be out of there. I don't know if you want to insert Doran Whittier's
Yeah, that's-
feasibility study.
I think that's what Cliff actually had in here.
I've gone through this and made some changes to it. I don't know whether it was the right time to bring this up, these out.
Yeah, want to do them one by one?
We do maybe a section at a time here.
Yeah.
I changed the first part to the Secondary School Building Committee, SSBC, will carry out all phases of the building projects or project at the middle and high schools under scope of secondary school building project approved by the school committee, including MSBA, coordination and related application, design phases and construction phases of the project, all projects.
And I think, does that include the coordinating related applications? That would be
Right.
the SBAB
It
application.
includes the coordinating the applications, going through the design phases and the construction phases. So it wraps the whole package up.
I would just label that, we have coordinated and related SBAB,
No, MSBA.
MSBA.
But he's got MSBA right there.
Well,
It's already
looked at
before it,
yours.
the MSBA coordination and related
Okay.
applications.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
SBA.
Okay,
And-
you
and
have something
related
in
app-
front of you that we don't have, right?
Yeah, we should get a copy down here.
More
Yeah.
specific.
Yep. Sorry, they didn't make it all the way
I
around.
purposely left it and related applications because there may be a variety of other applications besides this that need to be filled out.
2 pages. Yeah, I'll give you one more.
Sorry, yeah,
folder.
yeah.
And share.
Oh, it's 2 pages.
Is that number 9, the second page? Yes.
Yeah, it just has a little bit of, it's really the first page.
Do we need to add specifically the feasibility study in there, or do you put that under coordination and related applications? Or do you put that under design?
I left that all in the design.
Okay. I was just wondering if we needed to call that out, but I'm fine with not doing it.
Karen, Mel, you okay with that?
This is fine.
Yeah, except we don't need the word "the" after including. You can just say including MSBA coordination, not the MSBA. We don't need that. But I'm fine with that. How about the?
All right, so we'll go on through the
Yeah, and then
responsibilities?
and then we'll go back and talk about, yeah.
And then in this item 1, review schematic designs of middle and high school editions completed by Knight Bag, and I didn't realize we were
Yeah, so get rid of that.
completely,
Done with them,
Yeah,
um,
so it should just say completed by Dora and Whittier, right? Yeah.
are those just schematics that we have from Dora and Whittier, or are they, in fact, how far did they
I
actually
don't
go?
think they're schematics, I think it's a feasibility study, isn't it?
What was that?
Dora and Whittier.
Dora and Whittier was a feasibility study.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't-
We're going to get rid of the schematics that they've done, although they have seen some of the work that they've done more recently.
So we'd just say review the
On their own.
feasibility study.
Sure.
Okay. Because one of the things we're hoping is that a lot of what Dora and Whittier has already done will apply to this feasibility study that we have to do now. So if a lot of the work is already done and the MSBA looks at it and says, hey, this is, 80% complete or whatever, then that, gets us a long way down the road without spending a lot of money. hopefully.
Right, we don't get down that road too fast, though. 'Cause
Right.
after that, we have
We have to-
4 months to sell this to the community.
Right.
So-
Right, that's what I understood, that while you're getting your feasibility study, the clock isn't ticking.
Right.
Correct.
It's
But
once-
once we submit it and you
it's
guys
approved.
accept it,
Yes.
Yes, once this MSBA accepts it, it's a 4-month clock, right? Cliff?
120
That-
days.
120 days, right.
so that's the key vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we really have to lay out a timeline and work backwards.
Let me ask one question. We're referring to it as middle and high school, and this is a combination.
Well, I think,
So do we wanna?
I don't think we should presume that it's anything, because we don't know what's gonna come out. In fact,
I specifically, in trying to modify this, left it as, we don't know what it's going to be.
but instead of additions here, I would change it to review the feasibility study of the middle and high school project, instead of additions, middle and high school project completed by Dora and Whittier, because it was gonna be additions back, so if you change additions to project, because we could go to MSBA with a feasibility study, and then they'd say, well, you know what, I think what you need to do is build an addition at each school and renovate your existing facilities. We have no idea what they're gonna come back and
Well,
tell
we
us.
have a bit because we're in that pilot project.
Right.
For a combo school.
Yeah, but it's no guarantee.
It could also be one or the other.
Correct, that's what I mean,
So I think in
there's no
the
guarantee.
statement of work, we probably ought, I think it's gotta cover that, the middle and/or middle and high school.
Yes, because we're in there for this pilot concept of a shared core facility.
Most places here, I try to get it in all places, but when you start doing it with track changes on, it gets
Right.
kind of like hard to
Well, I said
follow.
if you change it to,
Uh,
the difference between the middle and
So
high
in
school
most places, I
project.
have
Yeah.
project
Sound
with
like-
a S in
Right.
brackets
Yeah.
afterwards, so that we don't know which it is, whether it's one project or more than one project.
Maybe if you define it, just that, define what the project is in the scope as being the middle, high school, and/or middle and high school. That's the project, and then just refer to projects from there on, or project from there on.
So you could say
Could say
middle
hereafter
middle
project.
slash high school or
Move
middle
it.
and high school.
Yeah, and define that as a project.
And then from there on, it's just the project.
Yeah.
So either one will fly.
Love it.
Okay,
Define project.
so middle slash high school and/or middle and high school. So it's either one or two.
Yeah.
I think that's what
What do
I,
you need to, just put middle and or
no,
high
middle,
school, right? I'm getting confused. What's
middle
the
slash high
slash?
school is if we do the joint.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
And then the other one
Good
is just
point.
either middle school and/or
Right.
whatever. I
You're
think,
after
If they wanted to
a
drive the
project.
solution,
yes,
rather than us tell them what the solution is.
they will drive the solution.
They'll
And-
drive?
And that's why it says in here, working with MSBA, determine options to
Yeah.
address secondary educational enrollment and facility needs.
Okay, so we'll do that, we'll define,
Right, so
Fix
it's
up the
middle
wording.
high school and/or middle and high school project.
and then every
Hereafter
time we
refer
can.
to.
Hereafter
just put
referred
in
to as the project.
All right. Number 2,
And that one, secure funding to hire an architectural firm and owner's project manager, OPM, to work with the SSBC, school department, town officials, and MSBA to develop a program to meet the grade 6 through 12 educational facility needs of the district.
I think we need to add secure funding for, I think we need to add the feasibility study in there specifically. Because that's the first thing we need to do is get funding for the feasibility study.
I think you roll it all in, don't?
No, it's separate.
What are we calling this now?
This is just the
schematic
chart.
design, or is this a
It's a feasibility study.
feasibility study?
Schematic is the last thing we're going to do.
So it should be all encompassing.
The state, MSBA will decide who you're gonna use for a feasibility study also. That was made clear to us at the meeting that we had in Boston. They also will return money on the feasibility study. That's part of it.
When the whole project gets.
When the whole project gets up and ramped up, they will return, if you get 65%, they'll return 65% of it. So this,
This is what I would do.
So we have to put all the money up front for feasibility study and then on the promise of getting the
Architectural,
Yeah, but you could still spec it out, saying to develop a program to, well, meet the needs and to assess the feasibility of its implementation.
after district,
Yes.
okay, and to assess the feasibility of its implementation. I think that's fine.
Does that work for you guys?
Because then that covers the feasibility
So
study.
after the district, we say, and to assess the feasibility of its implementation. So whatever program we contextualize in this process,
Right.
we're gonna see how we can implement it, which is basically a feasibility study, but
Right.
just nicer.
All right. We'll add that.
Otherwise, I like that.
Number 3,
Upon approval of the projects by MSBA, work with the school committee and town officials to place articles on town meeting warrants for the purpose of raising sufficient funds to complete the projects.
Yep.
yep, that's it.
Provide the school committee and the board of selectmen with periodic updates of the work of the secondary schools building committee. Upon approval by town meeting, work with a selected architectural firm to complete the project design, submit appropriate additional applications for state